Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Down and Dirty with the Badger State Tractor Pullers, brought to you by Flama Enterprises, Casper Egg, Front Street Toys, Wettenkamp Transport, and Trip Downing. And I'd like to welcome good friend Stacy Buxton with us, Ryan Zolik live with Mark Kohlberg in Freeport. So, is the weather warm down there, boys? Warm and dry, ready for some pulling?
It's pretty comfortable right now. Overcast, but they got it all set up to go for tomorrow.
Going to be turning the heat up as far as weather goes. Going to get warmer as the week goes, and always, summertime in northern Illinois and Wisconsin's going to get a little warm. Welcome, Mark.
Hi. We're ready to roll here. Everything's on schedule.
Why don't you talk to us about our shootout that we're going to have down there?
Yeah, the mini rods, there's 7 of them that sign up for the jackpot first. So the winning mini rod will get $3,000 out of the jackpot plus $600 for the Western Series purse. So the winner is going to walk out of here with $3,600, and they're going to pay down several other spots too.
Wow.
So, and I heard Stacy's going to give her a big tune-up tonight, and he's going for the throat tomorrow.
Yeah. Some go, some blow, right?
Mean is mean.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun tomorrow. It's kind of nice. We had 7 guys step up to throw money in for the jackpot. It's definitely going to make it interesting anyway. But I think we got 9 tractors entered. 7 of us got into the jackpot. So
he's so excited his camera tipped over.
Yeah, my camera stand fell. There, how's that? But it's the same bunch we pull with all the time down on the ITPA and the IPA circuit. So we all know each other quite well. So it'll be a good, fun, competitive night. For us, the big thing is going to be pulling on a real good track. Being first hook on a track that's getting professionally prepared that'll be a departure for us because a lot of times we don't get such good tracks once in a while. So that'll get everybody on their game in itself. So it'll be fun, and hopefully we're gonna have a big crowd. Mark got the thing reversed back to free grandstand. So pay one price to get in the gate, and the grandstand's free. So we're hoping we have some huge crowds at the Stephenson County Fair here the next couple days.
Now, $10 to get in the gate, and you can go do whatever you want at the fair, watch the poll all day long, both sessions for $10.
That's a heck of a deal. Do the other classes got shootout money too, don't they?
They had it available, but the mini rod guys were the only ones that stepped up and did it. So that's the only class that'll have that jackpot money.
Okay.
We're hoping they'll start a trend, and we'll continue trying next year again for it. We'll see how it goes when Stacy Butson walks out of here with $3,600 tomorrow night. Everybody's going to want to be Stacy Butson.
Yeah,
he's trendy anyway.
If I do that, I'll surprise myself. But I know my competition quite well, so I'm glad to see third place pays $1,000.
I don't think you'll make it out the rounds with any money left. You'll be buying rounds all night.
Yeah, you got to think positive.
Mark, you want to mention? I know Stacy kind of alluded to it, but there'll be a new pit routine for this year.
Yeah, we're pulling the opposite direction. We're pulling from west to east, and we'll have a little more staging area, pre-staging. Everybody will have to be in order when they go over the scale. we've got room for about 10 tractors after the scale to be ready to go. We're going to try to keep 2 of them up on the track, 2 or maybe 3 on the track, right beside the sled, ready to go. We want to run a tractor down the track every 3 minutes. It's a weeknight, so we want to be done by 9 o'clock and have everybody out of here at decent time. And Mark Kelsey is doing the track. Laverne Weber's prepped everything. And could we put them on?
Yep.
Maybe can you pan that around and show them the layout here? We're sitting right on the stage.
Sure.
So he can turn this and maybe you can see the layout here and you can explain it. And then I'm going to have Laverne Weber come in, tell how he has got the track all laid out and everything.
Sure.
Ryan, you gonna make it into the big picture?
We'll try. So we'll just quickly loop around. So the exit now will be the staging lane for those that have been to Freeport, and the scale is right over here. And then you'll come around the corner. And then I'll let Mark and Laverne, you can kind of see how much water, hopefully, they've already got into the track for this 4 sessions of pulling here at Freeport.
You must have pretty good internet there, eh, Ryan?
Well, we're on the Badger State Starlink, so I guess we can't boast up your brother.
Okay, gotcha. I just saying you guys are that's good.
They're good. Well, that's
Well,
the,
Mark,
that's
if you
the,
want to, you can sit right here, and then they can ask some questions. So we got Mark Kelsey and Laverne Weber, who is if you had some questions about the track.
Yeah, just to tell you who these 2 guys are. Mark Kelsey owns an excavating company out of the Durand area, and also pulls a light super stock. And Laverne Weber, he owns Grade Solutions, a major excavator also that does a lot of water work. But that's who these 2 guys are, and I'll let them tell what their story is.
Go first. Start first.
Okay, well, we lay out the track here. Since we flipped it end for end, we redesigned the track and our GPS and our surface, so it's laying west to east this year. We built a profile, we graded it, we shaped it up beforehand. We've got the dirt all positioned. This track this year is 6 inches higher on the west end than the east end. So start line's a little higher. It's much the same profile as you'd see in Louisville. Dan Christiana's tracks down there, 6 inches higher on the start line. So we're going to do that this year. So it's an even grade from start to finish. And the cross section will be perfectly flat side by side when we trim it for the final setup. And the track's looking good. Mark's doing a good job getting some water in it here. Takes a fair amount out here, but he's doing a good job.
I started last Wednesday putting water on it, ripping it and watering it. Had 16,000 gallons on it by Friday. And then Mother Nature took over Saturday for us, so which was quite nice, or else I'd have been here all weekend. So yeah, it's looking real good. We've been ripping it with a Ashland offset disc, 33-inch blades on it. So it's down good and deep. Moisture's all the way down. It should start coming out at night real well. It should be a real good track.
that's awesome. You guys do anything else with the dirt or add anything with the water like some of the other pulls do, or no?
We didn't this year because I'm not real familiar with this dirt. There's a lot of organics in it already. So the root mass in it will, that holds water real well. So we don't have to worry too much about it. And it's a pretty tight clay. It's darker than it used to be, but it's still just clay. So I didn't feel we needed any nitrogen or anything to try to tighten it up. I think it'll be plenty tight as it is.
This track gets seeded. We shape it back. We put it back in shape in the fall, and it gets seeded. So we bring that organics back into the soil when we open it up again. So over the years, there's been a little more added.
That's good. You don't want it too tight anyway. It's a hot summer sun will help tighten up anyhow.
Yes.
Clay track. So that's good. I know all the nighttime shows have been there. Have always been a super good track there. And now that you guys are going the other direction with it, I'm sure it's changed up. Why did you guys go the other direction?
I think it was a good idea because of the sun, and at night it was always hard to see as a puller, and it was always a pain for the crowd. Is right in their eyes the whole time. I think it's a really good idea to go the other direction, and it's safer.
Yeah, and another thing there, that's the direction we used to pull there. Well, I started announcing there 30 years ago, and that's the direction we used to pull is west to east. And that we got all them bleachers down there, what will be now at the finish line end. They were unutilized in the past when that was the starting line end. And we had less bleacher capacity at the finish line end when the track was running east to west like it used to. So now by flipping it from west to east, besides not pulling directly into the sunlight, we've got a lot more bleacher capacity for the spectators on the finish line end. And that's where everybody always wants to sit anyway. They always want to sit down towards the end of the track.
I remember pulling mini rods there on a Monday night that direction years and years ago.
Yeah.
It also improved the staging area tremendously. You used to have your foot on the brake the whole time. Now it's completely flat. You can get 30 tractors in here with nobody's foot on the brake, all level, and they won't roll.
The nice part about you guys doing this too is you're a puller, so you know what pullers are looking for. Some places that work tracks and it's the same people work tracks at whatever fair or festival, and I've been at a couple of them and overheard a couple of guys talking. Oh, it's a package some more. They want it hard, and I'm like, it's not what they're looking for.
Right.
But that's good that someone that pulls knows what the rest of the pullers are looking for. That's good.
The
info,
afternoon could be a little challenging. We did set up nice spray bar on the leveler. We're not running 3-point hitch levelers this year. We got one leveler that's long on its own wheels and a hitch to a tractor that has water on it. And then we're going to run a skid loader at each end and a roller at each end, self-propelled. So when the sled leaves, that'll automatically get done before the sled gets back. It'll be packed, ready to go. Everybody will have the same, you don't have to roll the rollers up to the pan, and everybody's getting a different compaction rate and not as close, sometimes closer other times. So it'll be, the starting line will be compacted before the sled gets put in reverse.
Yeah. And when you're talking skid steers, Mark, you're talking about the skid steers with the big rake on the end of them for putting the dirt back.
Yes. Yep. They're 8.6 wide. We're running real big skid loaders on them, so they cover a lot more area, and it's a lot easier to keep it flat. The sled guy loves it because he's not in there bouncing around off the starting line, and it just keeps it really smooth.
Nice. That sounds like a great plan you guys got put together. What people don't realize is all the hard work that goes behind the scenes before showtime, and gentlemen like you that are taking the time and putting your heart and soul in there. And like you said, you've been working on it since last week, let alone your normal work that you got going on. So very tiring, and I'm sure all the other pullers will thank you, graciously.
Yeah. I hope it all pays off, and I think it will. I think it's going to be real good.
Yeah, the track will definitely get a workout. I mean, we're starting at 12:30 tomorrow, and we all know pulling in the afternoon is always a bit more of a challenge as far as keeping a track. I don't want to say fair and competitive, but just in shape. Pulling in the afternoon, a lot of times they tend to get dry, they tend to get hard. So we're going to get challenged. We're going to get challenged right off the bat. That's for sure.
For sure. Yep. Do the best we can, and we'll run the light. We got one roller. It's a little lighter than the other, so we'll switch that up and see where it needs to be to do the best we can at the starting line and to get everybody off the line fair.
Yeah, that's good. And something else, John, that's gone on at the fairgrounds there. I'm hoping we're not going to utilize it here in the next couple days. But if you've ever been there before when it rained, you know that the water had no place to go. And Laverne with Grade Solutions, they've done a tremendous job putting some water mitigation into that place and some drainage. And I'll let Laverne talk about that work that's been done.
Yeah, down there.
Yeah, the fair board allowed us to basically tile out the pit area, the parking area, kind of a catch basin down by the little Yellow Creek down there whenever we had a rainstorm. We put a main in, we've got some storm drains in, and we've got laterals out across the parking lot that should evacuate any torrential rains real quick. Right now it's really stable down there. I think the other thing we did, just I guess as our insurance policy, we have a tractor down here with rolls of fabric on for the track. In the event we have rain, this track will be preserved this year, unlike other years. And we've got a whole volunteer crew lined up to tarp the track. We've got tarp here to tarp this track 3 times if we have to. So
Wow.
taking some precautions this year just in case, but hopefully, Mark, no rain.
Exactly.
So
Well,
we're doing
listen,
everything we can do to have 4 sessions of really great polling here at Freeport.
It sounds like it. Wow, you guys really did put a lot of work into the place. That's awesome. That's good. And the stands free. And I remember years ago going down there Monday night or even Wednesday nights or whatever, tractor pulling go down. That place was full, wall to wall back in the day.
Yeah.
Always.
Yep. We're hoping to get it back to that level of interest. You know, county fairs in general, you know, they're kind of tough shape a lot of nowadays because everybody's got something else to do, it seems like. But we're hoping we can work on getting it back there. And I think the free grandstand is a tremendous step to reestablishing how the Stephenson County Fair used to be. You know, it's $10 to get into the fairgrounds, and then you can watch all the pulling you want all day and night for free. I mean, that's a tremendous value. But the thing is, you know, years ago, you know, if we charged you $5 at the gate and then charged you $5 to get in the grandstand, people didn't like that because you were making them reach in their pocket twice. And it might have been the same $10, but you made them reach in twice to get it. And that just, you know, people don't like that. They feel like they're getting fleeced. Hopefully they'll see a great value in what we're doing this year with the free grandstand. And, you know, and a lot of people, you know, don't come to watch the tractor pull. They come to, you know, watch their nephew show his rabbits or whatnot, but they might grab a butterfly pork chop sandwich and go in and sit down and watch the pulling for, you know, 15, 20 minutes or so, and then venture on out. And that's what we're there for. We're there for entertainment. And hopefully the fans will find us entertaining and come out and really support us this year.
What is one of the hardest things you guys have dealt with down there and revitalizing everything? You know, what is one of the toughest things you've had to overcome?
He's broke up a little bit.
Yeah.
What
Was your question, what's the toughest?
What was one of the toughest things to overcome down there to revitalize everything?
That would be a question for Mark.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
but Mark,
He's
Mark,
putting a lot of time.
Mark walked into it. He was approached by the fair. Now Jeff Becker and his crew, they did a tremendous job for 17 years, and you know, the guys are just burned out. They were burned out and they were done, and they were done. The poll was not going to happen. It was going to be over. And you guys know as well as I do, if you lose your tractor pull, it's really hard to get it back. And Mark was approached by the fair board if he would take the tractor, you know, take the stewardship of the tractor pull back, because Mark ran it years ago before he turned it over to Jeff Becker and his crew. And Jeff Becker and his crew, they did a great job. They really did for 17 years. And so they approached Mark if he would be willing to, you know, take ownership or stewardship of the pull again and to keep it alive. And Mark, I don't know if he really wanted to or not, but he knew that if he didn't do it, it probably wasn't going to happen, and we were going to lose the pulling at the Stephenson County Fair, which would have been a not as much a tragedy, but very sad thing. And Mark agreed to do it, and he actually gave the fair board some terms that he wanted met before he agreed to do it. But one of them was the free grandstand. They had to agree to let the grandstand be free with just gate admission, and the fair went along with that. So I've only been in on a few meetings with all this stuff, but he's really got the support of the fair board behind him. They're all in on everything he's doing, and he's been working a lot at it. He's really been pushing. He was trying to get this jackpot thing to fly, kind of mimicking what Simons did out there. That was so successful, but it just didn't gain any traction. Us mini rod guys are dumb enough to get in it, but we're going to have fun with it anyway. But he assembled a whole new group of volunteers. We were all out at the fairgrounds last night, had some pizza, and kind of went over final details. And the crew that he's got, I don't know if I recognize anybody from the previous regime. I think it's a completely whole new crew of help that he's got. So I mean, there's going to be a lot of guys learning on the fly come 12:30 tomorrow, or before that, really getting things going. But I think that, and we got a bunch of young kids too, John. We got the FFA and some other young fellas. We got new blood, new generation of help coming in, and that's going to be a big thing. And a lot of them guys are pulling on Wednesday afternoon. We got the farm stock pull. It's sanctioned by the Back Roads Pullers, but it's an FFA pull. It's got a whole bunch of out of the field classes and no turbo classes, and and sitting there eating pizza last night with all them young fellas. They're going to be pulling too on Wednesday afternoon, and us old guys, we're not getting any younger, so we need new blood to start pulling and taking interest in this sport that we like so much. And it's really, really refreshing and to see the enthusiasm from the youngsters that are going to be there this week.
That's good. I see we got another legend here. Bob Parks is with down there with Mark too. Nice to see you.
Good being here.
Yeah, and I wanted to let everybody know that Bob chose Titan Tire in Freeport, about 5 miles from the fairgrounds, to build his tires. And Titan Tires really stepped up as a sponsor, and they bought all their employees a ticket to come to the tractor pull on Tuesday and Wednesday. They bought 200 and some tickets. They put in some sponsorship money. Bob's got a display here, and I'll let Bob talk about his tires that he's getting made at Freeport.
Well, we have a 24.5 by 32, and this is actually the third season for the tire. And it's done very well in all the classes but the Pro Stock. But the other classes, most of them, it's a dominant tire where you have to have it. And then we've just come out with a 30.5 by 32, and the tires started winning from the first weekend we had it out. So things are looking real good for the 30.5 by 32. And it's just been really good to work with Titan. They're all for it, and they want this to succeed too, and they're very happy that it's done as well as it has.
And for those pullers that fans that are on here, we did some shows a while back here with Chris Feller and working with the molds, and he was working with Bob with the molds and stuff down there. So that's the Parks pullers, the tires that they're running. And tires have always been a big part of the pulling game, but tires the last 4 or 5 years have been a huge part of the game now.
And Chris Feller has helped because he has a factory in China, and the molds are made in China. So the mold company is very close to Chris's factory. So when the mold is finished, it's shipped to Chris's factory and then comes over on a container that has Chris's product in there. And then it's just a lot simpler way of getting it here and a faster way of getting it here. And then we're able to keep an eye on the the production of the mold. His workers from his factory go to the mold factory, and they take pictures all the time to keep them on their toes to make sure everything's done correctly.
Are you looking by chance of making other tires, other size tires as well for the pulling industry?
Well, down the road we will. They've given me a green light to do other tires, but right now the 30 is so new that we got to make sure we get all the bugs out of it, because the tire looks good, but there's a few air pockets in the sidewall sometimes, and they're just getting things lined out a little better. And they've actually got the rubber compound a little harder now than what it was in the past, which is a good thing, but that ends up making a shorter tire, but that's okay too. We can always gain back the circumference when we do the hardening and post inflating.
But the tires harder will last longer. A lot of times, pulling tires, when you start cutting them and sanding them and whatever, you get the hardest part of the tire away from them, as you're going.
Well, and they're at Titan, they're using natural rubber. So with being a harder rubber compound, it's still flexible enough where it's not as apt to chip or crack like some of the other brands where they use a lot of synthetic rubber. And so that's actually makes our tire last longer in between sharpenings. And then it makes it a lot easier for the tire cutter to do the customizing on the tires too.
How long have you been working on the newer sets here? I mean, this isn't something that just happened overnight. You must have a lot of time invested in it.
Yeah, this actually started back in the fall of 2017, but then that was a bad timing because right after that, COVID came in and I couldn't go to the factory. But then after a month or two, they thought, well, I'm not a salesman, I'm a developmental engineer, so they let me come to the factory. And we built a 24.5 32 for the 22 season, but it wasn't correct. So we started from scratch again and made a new mold, which we got everything, probably 98% correct. And it's, been a really dominant tire so far. And then I used what I learned from the 24.5 32 to help me with the building of the 30.5. And so far, like I said, it's been winning. So that means the sales are going to be good.
Hey, Bob, when out there at Titan Tire, when they run a batch of tires for you, how many sets will they make in a run? Is it 10, 20, 100?
Usually 10. It's supposed to be more than that, but what we decided on to run 20 tires on a run. But if I want 60, then I make 3 orders.
Okay.
Gotcha. It breaks down the amount I'm paying, so it makes it a little bit easier to pay them. And then they can, if I got it paid for, they can release it. Because most of the time, I don't just order 20. I'll order 20 and then 20. And then another month later, I order another 20. And then they're continually making tires. They're not stopping in between. And they already have the tires made, but then I have it where it's broke down into 20 tire segments to pay for it. And it just makes things a lot easier for the billfold, and they're just fine with it too.
Yeah. Okay. I was curious. I didn't know if they'd make 20 tires and then stop and then go do something else. And then if you wanted another 20, they say, okay, we got to get things all tooled back up again. But they're just continuously putting them out for you.
And the other good thing, my molds have its own press, so they don't ever take the molds out of the press to do somebody else's tires. They have enough presses there that they just leave the mold in the press all the time.
Huh.
Unless we have to do some tweaking on the mold, sometimes where there's some air pockets, they can drill more holes for vent holes and to release that air out of that's trapped between the tire and the mold, and they'll have to take the mold out to have that done, which doesn't take them very long to do it. I mean, it's in and out just in an hour or two.
Nice. Craig Ladwig asked you a question, Bob. He says, Why do you feel the tire doesn't work better in the pro class?
Well, the pros now are running 56 and up to 60 bars and shorter lug, and they actually got more tire on or tread on the ground. But what I tell people, like a 4.1 Limited Pro or a 5.0 Pro, and you step up to a Pro Stock, that's just like in drag racing saying an alcohol dragster and a nitro dragster. There's that much difference. There's over 2,000 horsepower difference, and it's just completely different setup. And we're real close, but last weekend at Chapel Hill, Brian Schrammick got third with my tires. Chad Mayhill shaved the bars off of it and put 60 lugs on there. And he got third, and he was less than 2 inches out of second place. So it's real promising there. Just to, if there, some of them are going to shave the rubber, the tread off, and then, you know, put more lugs on there.
That's
I
awesome.
mean, we were real close before, but it was just, you know, people don't want to change unless they see a drastic change. And then if one person does it, then they all follow, but it wasn't good enough to make a difference. And it seems like the more bars are going to make a difference. And with the 60 lugs, they're only an 1/8 inch tall lug.
A lot of wheel speed.
Yeah. And like the 4.1s, they started out at a 1/4 inch, and now they're down to 3/16 or less.
Not piling as much dirt in front of the buckboard either when they're like that, I'm sure. So
Yes. Mm-hmm.
makes a difference.
And the Super Farm and the Limited Pro were getting to be in the winter circuit most of the time there, but they were having a harder time figuring the tire out. Just you know, if we're in the 4.1 Limited Pro, we'd tell them you need to shift down a gear and put 200 to 400 more pounds on the front from what you were running, and they'd look at you like they're in any way. Well, that's what they had to do, and most of them had to put 400 pounds or more on the front and shift down a gear.
Wing them a little harder.
Yeah, and like there at Farley, they actually shifted down another gear because the track's so tough.
Oh yeah. What Mark, what time are the shows down there then? Tomorrow night, Wednesday night then?
12:30 both days in the afternoon session, and 6 o'clock for the night session.
And the night will be Pro Pulling League.
Yeah, tomorrow afternoon is Badger State Pro Farm Champions Tour Light Super Stock, Silver Series Pro Stock Diesel Pickups, and we'll finish up with Badger State Hot Farm. Then tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, it will be Champions Tour Super Farm, Badger State Pro Stock, and Mini Rods actually will be the first class down the track before them, and that's a Western Series. Then Wednesday afternoon, we have the Backroads Pullers. We have a variety of farm classes, and we've got one 12,000 open class. The only rule is going to be a 20.838 tire, 3,000 RPM, and a 20-inch drawbar, and you can do anything else you want. So there'll be some wild equipment there. Then Wednesday night, we'll start out with the Western Series Light Limited Super Stock, Badger State 4.1 Limited Pro Stock, and finish up with the ITPA co-sanction with Outlaw Heavy Modifieds. So that class hasn't been here for several years, so we got a modified class back.
Wow. Sounds like a heck of a lineup. You guys done a lot of work putting that together. That should be some good shows to come watch. So,
and yep, you pay $10 at the gate at noon and watch all day and all night. And we're gonna try to have, a 2.5 to 3 hour pulling sessions and get everybody back on the road by a little after 9 o'clock. And we'll try to keep it moving fast. As far as for pullers information, we already went over the way we're going to stage them and everything. We're going to hold the winner at the end, just like they do at Louisville. And then if they get bumped out, then they'll go out. The next guy will go in. And then at the end, whoever's sitting there is going to come up front and get their championship belt.
Nice.
And the mini rods will get a jackpot purse check too. So that's about all I've got.
And Stacy's pretty good too. If you got a cordless mic, he can announce sitting in the seat of the mini rod, and he just hands it off to somebody, and then he gets down at the end, just run down there and give it back to him again, and you never miss a beat.
Yeah. And we get the cordless mic for you this afternoon, Stacy. You'll have it.
All right, we're hooked up. Everything's coming together.
The bad part about that, Mark, is when he's not pulling, you never know where he's going to be either. He might not be up on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's all right.
Yeah, it'll be fun, and it'll be nice to pull the tractors back down in front of the stage, so the fans can see actually which tractor won. Because we've always brought the winner up on the stage and presented him with his award, and we'd have a little chit chat. But a lot of times the fans they don't associate who that is talking with what tractor they drove down the track. Unless they're really paying attention. But now pulling the tractor back down in front of this stage for a minute and giving them their championship belt and having a few words with them. That'll give the fans a chance to say, "Oh, that's the tractor that won." It'll help make that connection a little bit better. And I'm hoping the pullers will be really chatty.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. If Punky wins, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Make them talk like WWF wrestlers and put their belt on.
Yeah.
Show their muscles.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Mark, and thanks for coming on, Bob. We should chat again some night about your tires on here. That would be great if you do that.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, and Bob, you're going to have a tractor on display in your booth down there on Wednesday, I'm understanding. Is that correct?
I think it's going to be in front of the grandstands.
Okay.
There's a tent
behind the grandstands.
Or behind the grandstand, excuse me.
Yep.
Not at my booth. It'll be behind the grandstands.
Okay,
Red Express Ray Heron's going to be there with his Parks pullers. He'll be at the Titan Tire tent.
Oh, he'll be at the Titan tent. Okay, gotcha.
Right behind the grandstand. And Bob's got his display here in the hot pit area right next to the hospitality tent.
Very good.
Good place to be. All right. Well, thank you guys, and hope everything goes smooth down there. And the rejuvenation down there should be awesome. So
okay, well, thank you.
Free grandstands, $10 to get in. You can't beat it.
Thank you for having us. We'll look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow.
All righty. Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Well, welcome, Vern and Melissa Meinholz, another couple that have been working tirelessly to keep a pull going and keep track going. How are you guys doing?
Doing good.
So
Doing
you
good.
guys also getting ready for Friday night's Mazomanie River Rumble against
River
Lufthansa.
Rumble, yep.
I was down in Big Bend announcing for Badger Trucks and PI in South Central, and it's Rumble by the river down there. And I got river Rumble a couple times. I'm like, ooh, wrong place.
Yeah. Well, I started back with Dan Durst, and we're trying to come up with a name, and he came up with that. And we've just run with it, and it's not a river; it's just a Black Earth Creek. But it does what it's got to do.
Yep. So how you guys been? It's good to see you.
busy. Sort of a tough year with the loss of a motor back in early July there. So
Early June.
early
Sock.
June, we're up in Sauk on the first pull, broke our camshaft, and it sort of changed the whole world. Now we're come back with a 640. We're not intercooled, so we're talking about going to Freeport tomorrow night just to do a little learning a little bit more yet with the new chassis and new motor. It's one of those things that I'm hoping things work.
Well, I'm thinking the new chassis was like, this 466 thing isn't going to work. And I know he's got a 640 going, so we're going to spit this out so we go super farm pulling.
Yeah, we had ordered a crank back in October. We got a used crank to get by. Got Mitchie Berg's old motor. He's redoing a whole new setup. So I can't sit out. I'm just one of those idiots that has to pull. And Mr. Ball did a lot of good work, got us going for Toma. We actually had a pretty good run, and I think we finished 7 of 24 on the Saturday show. I felt pretty good about it. But I learned a few more things since then, trying to drive that chassis and get the front end in the air. It's not a hot farm anymore. We ran down the track and I forget where we were, River now was at Decorah, and got done, and Melissa said to me, it's not hot farm. I think it's got to have the front end in the air, and it felt good, but yeah, it's not a hot farm tractor anymore. So, hopefully we get the new crankshaft and everything else together, and we can come back out next year swinging a little harder with the cooler on and see how it is.
Great. So let's talk about Friday night. Friday night, I'm sure you guys been working the track and getting things all ready down there at the grounds. And so what are we going to see Friday night? We got some great food. Always got great pork chops there, and a lot of great nice cold beer. Pork chops going to be there.
Yeah, we got pork chops for. Me and Melissa are going to be doing the pork chops for the pullers. We always have a few extra in the trailer. If you're really hungry, you can come over and see us in the trailer, kind of a deal. But the fire department does a lot of work with us. That's sort of where they get a lot of proceeds to it. We got good sponsors. It's a little bit of a change this year. We're going to have 540s instead of pro stock in there. But yeah, it's coming together. The big part of it's going to be Wednesday, Thursday for putting it together. I've been down there obviously trying to get things together, and some equipment's down there already. So, but yeah, it's
hopefully Mother Nature will be nice.
Yes. What was it, last year or 2 years ago? We left there and it downpoured.
2 years, yeah.
I had Warren Lou Burrow and several guys calling me like, "Why are we going to the tractor pull? It is not raining here," and we got all the way down to, if it wasn't for, I think there's 4 more super farms that had to run the last class. And if it wasn't for our lightning, we would have got done before the rain. But they said we need to shut it down. So, but yeah, that was crazy because everybody talked about how miserable, and it rained like hell down there too. But, we sat in the trailer and had a bunch of beer and talked about it. And that's sort of when Dan Durst told me, I sort of want to bail out of this, and that's how we ended up taking over from Premier. So
that's awesome. So we're gonna see what limited pros, light pros, super farm, pro stock diesel trucks,
and hot farm. Hot farm.
Yep.
All right. And it starts what time? 6 o'clock or
6:30.
That's right. Friday night. So Mazomanie, just head to the west end of Mazo and turn there like you're going to go to the industrial park, and I'll take you right to the park.
Yep. Down to Lions Park.
Lions Park, yep. Beautiful facility. For those of you who never been there, that's a pull you got to go to. I mean, it's just fan friendly. It's the fans sit up kind of like in a bowl, horseshoe bowl right around it, and there's not a bad seat in the house.
Nope.
It's sort of a unique because you don't go many places where you're sitting in a horseshoe and we're pulling, somewhat at the crowd, you want to say, but we got our safeties up. I don't see anything ever getting to the crowd, but yeah, it's very unique because a lot of times you're pulling out and away from the crowd. We're pulling into the crowd, and everybody gets to see and feel the energy.
And you guys too do a great job there. You keep the leader right over by the announcer stand
Yep.
and interview every winner there, and then
Mhm.
also the sponsors that come and sponsor each class. It's amazing. You remember some of the sponsors other than Lawns Unlimited that are sponsored here?
Do we remember? We Cardinal Glass is a sponsor this year. Premier, of course.
Manos Excavating. I think it's Ross Loger.
Midwest Heavy Duty.
Midwest Heavy Duty. Truck equipment down there in McFarland.
Okay.
Yeah. And it takes a lot of sponsorship. Everybody's got to go out and put a pool on once. I've always been a part of this, but she does most of this chasing and getting this done. I'm too stupid and keep on working and whatever. Got to pay the bills too, but there's a lot to it. But it wouldn't happen if I had to do it. So I'll give her most of the credit.
Team Meinholz.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's some reason this pulling, it's an addiction. As we said, we screwed around doing a little garden tractor back in the day. Jumped on a buddy's 60-30 and jumped off of that, winning that night. And he says, "What do you think?" I said, "I think I'm hooked." And that's our tractor. So
I'm hooked.
I'm hooked.
Never look back.
Yeah. But yeah, the pole, the fire department's a big gain to it. It's a great for the community. I'd like to do a little bit more here and there. We got some stuff going on, for some 50-50s and that stuff, kind of a deal I think is going to happen. Love to do more for the children too on that level. It's sort of last year we couldn't come up with the winner. And I'm saying kids and the crowd applauded it, so I'd like to do more of that way, I guess is what I'm hoping for. So, and get some credit for it, kind of a deal. I think for what Back State does, they talk about being family, what better way but taking care of the kids that really need it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a fun event. So those of you who've never been there, come on out. That's a great event to come to, and the food is awesome. Like I said,
I don't know what Ryan did.
Is this the first time for Light Pros there, Vern?
I think they froze up.
Yeah, I guess
We
so.
can't hear you, John.
Can you hear me now?
It must be on theirs.
Oh, dang.
But is this the first time for Light Pros there, John?
It is the first time. Yep, they took the place of Pro Stock there, but Light Pro has really been getting to be a stout class, and it's a fun one to watch. So
Yeah,
Light Pro Stock, 540 cube with a lot of RPM and horsepower. They're very light. So putting all that combination together it's fun to see. They stand them up and carry them. And it's a good class. I'm glad that they're going to have that.
it's always good to have something a little bit different in on a show for them.
Yeah,
And they'll put on a great show for everyone at Mazo.
it is good to mix it up. It's good to mix it up and change things up sometimes. And Pro Stocks, have a lot of hooks all year too, so it's hard to keep all of them together. They're kind of they're a finicky animal to keep them running, so it takes a lot. Not that taking away from any other tractors that there's a lot of maintenance or whatnot with either, but Pro Stocks are definitely harder. You're back. Live, maybe. Oh. Maybe Vern spilled his beer on the phone. No? Dang. Having troubles.
Yep. It's
Well,
like with Edgerton there, right when we were just getting good.
having troubles.
Always technical difficulties.
Always technical difficulties. Yeah. Well, I think this would be a perfect time to wrap things up for tonight. Thank you, everybody, for watching. So head on down to Freeport. You're going to see some good pulling action down there.
And just quickly, if you can't be in Freeport tomorrow afternoon or evening or in Mazo, you can catch it live on propolling.tv as well. So gives you an option to still support the event and get a chance to see some good polling.
Yes. Very well. All right. Well, thank you, Ryan, for all you do. Thank you for setting it up down there. It's nice having Bob Parks on with the guys down there. Also, Badger State Pull Friday night. Mazomanie, come on out. It's just west of Madison there. Hop, skip, and a jump away. See everyone Friday night, Mazo. Yes. See ya. Thanks, Vern and Melissa, for coming on. Yeah, come on out, guys. The food is awesome. It's a great place to watch a pull. It'll be a nice night. We'd like to thank who's announcing in Freeport. Freeport's going to be Stacy, and I'm going to be in Mazo. Busy week. So, without further ado, I'd like to thank Salama Enterprises, Casper Egg, also Front Street Toys, Trip Downing, and Wetton Camp Transport for sponsoring Down and Dirty with the Badger State Tractor Pullers, and all you fans for coming out and watching every week. So we'll see how pulling goes this week. Chat with some winners and some people next week. So thanks everybody for coming out. Thank you, Stacy, if you can hear me, for coming on with us tonight. And thank you, Ryan, as always. So
Thanks, John. I had to get to work out here on the old stinking puller. I got to get her tuned up for that $3,000 jackpot tomorrow.
there you go. Nice. Live in the shop in South Beloit, Illinois, an undisclosed location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't have any competitors wheeling in the door, do you?
Yeah. See, I just want people to realize we actually do work on these things once in a while, you know?
Yeah, for sure. All right, everybody. Good night. Take care. Good luck, Stacy, and have fun down in Freeport.
See you Friday.
Bet, see you tomorrow, Ryan.
See ya.